Playoff basketball is back in New York City. The world's most famous arena will host Knicks Hawks game one Saturday night at 6 o'clock. And we thought we'd talk about it.
Yeah. Obviously super excited. This regular season felt way too long. I mean, so excited to have the Knicks playing playoff basketball again. New York City's always a blast. We'll both be home for the playoffs in a couple weeks. Should be amazing. As far as the series goes, I've seen a lot of people that are nervous about this series against the Hawks.
Yeah, same.
I'm going to be honest. I'm not too concerned. The Hawks are a very good team. I really think we should win the series fairly handily. I don't think it'll be a sweep like I thought Knicks Raptors could have been. Maybe even Knicks Sixers, especially with no Embiid. But nonetheless, there's absolutely no reason why we shouldn't win game one at the Garden. We shouldn't lose at the Garden in any of the games. I think this series ends in 5 games. I think Brunson and Cat have figured out the pick and roll. They've absolutely solved the defensive problems they've had earlier in the season. I think the Hawks are going to have one of those situations where the game slows down and you're playing more in the half court and they don't really have a true point guard that can run the offense.
No.
I think they're going to struggle offensively. I think the Knicks are bigger than them. They rebound better. Their offense is better. Their defense is better. They're just a better team. The Knicks will win this series. If they don't, we're going to have some serious conversations about Mike Brown and honestly some of the players on the roster. But I don't think those conversations will happen until at least the next round because the Knicks will win this series in 5. I believe they will win Saturday night, and they're going to start their playoff run off with a very successful W in Madison Square Garden. Take it away.
All right. I hope you're right. Let's just start with that. I hope you're right. But I agree. Yeah, I don't know about 5. I think maybe 6. I think the Hawks are definitely, I think of all the potential playoff / play-in teams, I think this is the team I wanted to play the least. I'm going to be honest. They're hot. They're really hot.
They
last,
are.
20 games of the season were one of their only losses, which is good. That's good.
We beat them, yeah.
That's good that we beat them. It's a 3-point game. And, CJ McCollum almost got a hoist off at half court to send it to overtime. But
what a crazy ending that was.
I know. That game was insane.
Jeez.
But yeah, I don't think it's going to I agree partially with some of the fans who said it's not going to be an easy series. I really don't think it's going to be.
You can't get complacent.
No, I don't think it's going to be what it would have been with Toronto. I think Toronto would have been.
They're not going to blow them out every game.
Most games will be close.
I do believe if the Knicks go in focused, ready to go, which I really think they will after how their season ended last year, they're going to go in hungry and focused. And I think if and when they do that, they will win this series. And there shouldn't be too much stress and high blood pressure for New York Knicks fans.
You would hope so. Like you said, earlier, you would mention that we're bigger than them. And we're not even just bigger than them. We're way bigger than them.
Yeah.
Onyeka Okongwu is 6'8".
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Karl-Anthony Towns is 7 feet tall. So is Mitchell Robinson, I think, is 7'1", actually. If you get beat up by him in the post, or you can't beat him up in the post, then you know what? You don't deserve to get out of the first round. You don't deserve to win a championship. You don't deserve to be making $60 million like Towns is. You don't deserve it.
Completely agree.
If you can't beat up on Onyeka Okongwu, you shouldn't even be in the NBA. Okay, let's have it that. Let's go that far. I'm going to go that far.
Honestly, fair.
I'm going to go that far. He's 6'8". He's 6'8".
Tiny. He's small. He's too little to guard Cat.
He's too little to guard Cat, and even Mitch on the alley-oops and the putbacks. Yeah. He should.
And even if Mitch isn't trying to score, the offensive rebounds, that's another thing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The putbacks and the
kill them on the glass.
Yeah.
You're not there are no back-to-backs in the playoffs. He won't be missing any games unless he actually gets hurt, which God forbid. Hopefully
God willingly he won't get hurt.
But again, as long as the Knicks keep it simple and do what they're good at, again, to end the season, this Brunson Towns, they finally figured out that pick and roll.
It seemed
The
like
Hawks
it.
are not going to be able to defend that. They're either going to leave Okongwu in the paint alone, and it's going to be like 7-foot cat with a full head of steam going at him, or they're going to clog the paint and he'll drop back and be wide open at the top of the key for three, where he doesn't miss seemingly ever.
Yeah.
So, or they'll somehow find a way to guard him, and Brunson will have the easiest floater of all time. Like they finally figured out, hey, I have a top 3 point guard and top 5 center in the league. Maybe they should like play off of each other. And it's working, shockingly. Better late than never, because now we're in the playoffs.
Exactly. If there's a time for it to work, it's now. But even let's say the pick and roll isn't working or something. Who are the Hawks gonna leave open from 3? Right? Every team drops.
Not Josh Hart anymore.
Well, they still do it. He shoots 42%.
Good. Let him.
By all means. By all means, back off on him. Let him shoot. He shoots 42%.
Look what he did to Boston a few games ago. Please leave him open.
OG Anunoby, he shoots 40%, especially from the corner. He doesn't miss from the corner.
Bridges still high 30s. I mean,
Bridges is still a very solid shooter. You don't want, especially, and then you don't want to let him inside the paint then, because once he gets to that mid-range jumper, it's like 70%. At least.
And as much flack as Mikal Bridges has gotten, he is a playoff riser.
Absolutely. We saw it last year.
The reason, arguably, we even made the conference finals with 2 of the most iconic defensive plays in Knicks history, and back-to-back
2 of the best defensive
road.
plays in Knicks history. Just 2 of the best defensive plays in Knicks history.
I mean, these are defensive plays you'll be thinking about. You're telling your kids about in 30 years.
Oh, absolutely.
Mikal Bridges, you might not remember him. He made arguably the 2 biggest defensive plays in Knicks history in back-to-back games against the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, insane.
Hated rival. So he's a playoff riser. Not too worried about him in the playoffs.
No, me neither.
And he's not going to get hurt because he doesn't ever. So,
and
off the bench, this is the best bench they've had since they got Jalen Brunson. You have McBride. Clarkson's actually playing great basketball. Mitchell Robinson's the best backup center in the league.
I think the thing with Jordan Clarkson is that he can score. Like, he's a guy that can come off the bench and score 20.
Yeah,
and that's what you need. Like, and then sometimes, is it going to look ugly? Is he going to miss a couple easy shots? Is he going to take a couple dumb shots? Probably. But that's the price you pay. That's the price you pay. That's it. That's how.
And you know what? Everyone forget Jordan Clarkson, sneaky playoff experience.
Yeah, he
played on many LeBron teams. I don't remember if he was on any of the teams that made the finals. I want to say he was on one of the finals.
He might have been. I think he did. He not also make it with Utah when Donovan Mitchell was there? Or was that I don't know?
Yeah, they were in the playoffs with Donovan Mitchell, and they won. I
think he was there still too. So he's got
some playoff experience. He's a savvy veteran.
Everybody on this roster, or everybody that's going to play on this roster, has playoff experience.
Yeah.
The starting 5, obviously.
The guy we didn't mention, Landry Shamet, ended last season's playoffs with a bang against the Pacers. I mean, he finished that series great.
And he was on Phoenix's team when they made the finals, if I'm not mistaken. I
think you're right. Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Plenty of playoff experience in the starting lineup at this point, with the starting 5 just making the conference finals last year, off the bench. And if for some reason anyone on the bench is not playing well, you've got some young athletic guys that you can throw at, other teams' good offensive players. I don't think a guy like Diawara is going to get minutes, but maybe if you're having trouble with Jalen Johnson, could throw him out there and make.
I would love to see. I would love to see Mo Diawara.
I think there's more than 9 guys they can turn to. They're going to start with a 9-man rotation, obviously, but. Diawara, Sohan, you got guys to turn to who I think you can contribute given the right situation. So it's the deepest team they've had when Jalen Brunson has been on the team, for sure.
Absolutely. It's definitely the deepest team they've had in years, like basically 5 years, right? Since Brunson got here. But I also think Tyler Kolek could be a sneaky guy off the bat. I know it's not. He hasn't played in a while, really. At least meaningful minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But we saw what he did in the winter. We saw what he did in the NBA Cup. We saw, especially in that. And
that was the most like a playoff game all year. That was the best game of the year.
The NBA Cup was basically the play. Especially when it got to a certain point, it was you had to win to keep moving on, that's the playoffs. Yeah. So we've seen he can rise to that level in a tournament-like setting. Maybe if you're struggling to get some scoring, maybe you don't love the passing. We know he's a great passer. He's developed that 3-point shot. If you're struggling. Maybe Clarkson's not playing so well, or McBride. Maybe you would see a little Tyler Kolek. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I completely agree. If in that second unit you're struggling with like initiating an offense without Brunson on the court, then I mean,
perimeter shooting too, because like Kolek
the
has
only
gotten better from that.
hope is that Mike Brown is flexible enough to try stuff like that if they're really struggling.
Right.
And I think he is. That's why you fired Tibbs and hired Mike Brown. And again, for all the flack Mike Brown has gotten, they finished the season with the third best offense and the fifth best defense net rating.
Yeah.
This is the best Knicks team with Jalen Brunson at the helm. Arguably the best Knicks team since they last made the finals, at least since the 2012-13 team.
I would say this is probably
and it's the weakest Eastern Conference like ever. Yeah. I mean, is that even a stretch?
I would say not like maybe not obviously not record wise. It's probably not the best Knicks team, but talent wise, I think you could argue it's one of just the most talented Knicks teams of all time.
Absolutely,
including the two final winning teams, the 94 team, the 2000 team, all of them. The 2012 team, one of the most talented. It's up there. I mean, even like it's up there with last year's team too, who made the Eastern Conference Finals. So, this is a team that should comfortably win in round one. You're a 3 seed. You're playing a 6 seed. You should win. Obviously, right? You're the favorites. You should win. No matter who you're really playing, it shouldn't have mattered. Like fans being really upset about not playing Toronto. I get it. I wanted to play Toronto too. I was like, Matt, are you kidding me, Orlando? You couldn't beat
any fan. You're going to want as Celtics. Easy of a round one matchup as possible. I mean, the way I see it, that's just showing respect to the Hawks.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're
a good team.
Of the teams that are not Cleveland, Boston, Detroit, they're the team you probably least wanted to see. Maybe you could argue the Sixers, but
Sixers without Embiid, probably not. But with Embiid, yeah. But
yeah.
So it doesn't and then I saw other people saying it. Some people were, using their brains, which is very seldom on, social media, as we know.
One of the rarest occurrences ever.
Exactly. And so people say,
this funny thing that happened. I see someone say something smart on social media, and then sometimes I'll see a pig fly in my window. But it's very rare.
Yeah. But what this person was saying, they were like, listen, we're supposed to be an NBA Finals caliber team. This is what we came in. We had these expectations coming into the season. This isn't something where we came in. We're like, well, if we make the playoffs, that'd be nice. No. This is NBA Finals or bust. So if you're an NBA Finals or bust team and you're worried about who you're playing,
you're not ducking the Hawks if you're
not a finals team. If you're worried about playing the Atlanta Hawks, and no shame to I'm not trying to diss the Hawks. They played really well lately. If you're worried about the Hawks and you're worried about your round one matchup, that's a problem. You're not a real contender then. Worry about Boston, fair enough. That's a 2 seed. Fair enough. They won the finals 2 years ago. That's a team to be worried about. They're finally healthy. That's a team to be worried. Detroit, they won 60 games. That's a team to be worried about. They kicked our ass all year long. That's a team to be worried about. Oklahoma City, if you do make the finals, they also beat up on us. We didn't beat them once this year. That's a team to be worried about. They won it last year. They have the reigning MVP who might win it again this year. Who knows?
Right, yeah.
Even a team like San Antonio, who you beat up on,
they have Wemby.
So they have Wemby. Yeah,
they have Wemby.
You can name a couple Western Conference teams where it's like, even like the Nuggets. I don't really want to play Nikola Jokic in the NBA Finals. Hell, I'll go as far as say the Lakers. I don't want to play Luka Doncic and LeBron James in the NBA Finals. I'm going to be really honest. There are teams you should be scared about playing.
Yeah. Look, the point is the Hawks are not in the top tier of contending teams that can beat anybody on a given night. And again, like you said, no disrespect to the Hawks. I actually want to talk about what the Knicks have to do to actually beat them like they should. Jalen Johnson has had an unbelievable breakout season. Yes, gonna have to watch out for him. Find a way to stop him. You don't want to let him get hot. Nikhil Alexander-Walker is going to win Most Improved Player. I mean, out of nowhere, what an offensive year he put together.
Yeah.
Hawks have some pretty good shooting. Dyson Daniels has given Jalen Brunson serious problems in the past. You're going to want to find ways to get Brunson looks where he's not guarded by Dyson Daniels, ideally. Hopefully, their new pick and roll can help with that.
You would think.
But yeah, that's going to be a big key. Again, don't leave anyone open from 3. That was a problem against the Hawks earlier in the season. They seem to have fixed that. But again, Alexander Walker, Johnson, Okongwu, Daniels, not so much. They can all hit their shots. They have a pretty deep bench. and a very bright future. Maybe not. Maybe this year they're not a
Absolutely.
finals threat, but they're going to have a top pick.
Yep.
These guys are very young. They're going to be together. They're going to have the playoff experience. This team is not bad, and you can't overlook them. But if the Knicks do what they're supposed to do and play smart, they should, and I think will win the series and move on for what looks to be a rematch with the Boston Celtics. But let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Could be
Let's win
Philly.
this series first, and then hopefully we'll be talking about that series.
Yep. One thing I do want, you mentioned the defense. I want to ask you, what would be your like defensive matchups? So we know both teams starting fives. Who's guarding Brunson? I mean, like, who's Brunson guarding? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, you're hiding
like,
Brunson.
Where are you hiding? Like, that's what. Where are you hiding
Dyson
Brunson?
Daniels, I would imagine.
Where are you?
And
who's on Johnson? You would assume OG Anunoby.
I would assume Anunoby would be on Johnson. I would think Bridges would be on Alexander Walker.
Alexander Walker, right?
And then Hart on McCollum. And
right.
Cat is going to have to be on a
Cat is going to have to be on a Congo.
But again, because of the lack of shooting Dyson Daniels provides, you can maybe you have Brunson on McCollum even. I mean, Brunson's improved his defense.
He has. He's not a bad defender.
He was clamping Jason Tatum, for God's sake, in that.
Jason Tatum didn't score a single. He didn't score a single
game against the Celtics. So maybe you could have Brunson on McCollum. Maybe you could have Cat play like free safety. Or Bridges play free safety even. There's some options. I think the only must is OG on Johnson.
Yeah, well,
you have to find a way to not let them get a switch where Johnson's guarded by Brunson, because that would be a problem.
Yeah, well, one thing I was thinking is, do you just lay off Dyson Daniels and just let him?
Of course, yeah.
Right, you do what teams do to Josh Hart, except it'll actually work because Daniels is an 18% 3-point shooter. For those of you who don't know, Josh Hart's 42% 3-point shooter. So that will actually work if you let him shoot. Obviously, we know what happens at Madison Square Garden with crappy shooters when they get a shot to shoot. We know
he's gonna go 5 for 5 in the first half of the game one.
We 100%. Know during game one at one, but he will make at least 3-point. I guarantee.
In a row.
I guarantee.
In a row.
Exactly. In a row. It'll be back to back possessions.
Yeah.
We'll have to call timeout, and we're gonna want to jump off a bridge. But
yeah, I mean,
we just know it's gonna happen.
Wouldn't be a Knicks playoff game without something like that.
Right. But it can't be Madison Square Garden in the playoffs without a shitter, doing something good. That just it happened. It happens every time.
Yeah.
But
and by shitter, just on offense, obviously top 5.
Very good defensive player.
But
very good defensive
shooting the ball,
cannot score. Great defender.
Elite
actually
defender.
Kind of scary for Brunson to go against him a little bit.
Yeah.
As good as Brunson is, great defense player, but not a good offensive player at all.
No.
At all.
And especially not a good shooter.
No, definitely not.
But yeah, no, that's basically it for the recap. Knicks should win. We will have a recap of every game, I would think, especially if they lose.
Well, if they lose, then that's going to be fun.
Yeah, especially if they start losing.
It'll be like cathartic, we'll get our emotions out,
Yeah,
we'll get to.
Yeah, we'll hopefully be able to recap every game. It'll be a quick recap, go over what happened. But yeah, once again, Knicks Hawks at the Garden Saturday night at 6 Eastern time, 5 for me,
5 for you. Central.
Should be a great series.
Yeah,
and hopefully the start of a finals run at last for the New York Knicks.